Good morning, guys. So today is the first complete jet lag free day that I'll be having. My eyes a little red because I don't know, slept with the air conditioning on and it made my eye pretty dry, but anyway, slept really well, slept 8 hours. I'm about to do some cardio and my weight was actually 112.8, so it actually dropped by 100 grams. Probably lost some intestinal mass and some water weight over the flight time, and then yesterday, just didn't come back up. Of course, also because I'm sweating so much here. So what I'm doing right now is I'm taking this with me. Already drank a liter of water. This is like 2 liters. I put in some Hydra Surge, this, to make sure that I stay hydrated. So these are actually sticks, as you can see. So those are serving sticks, and they have, for example, a lot of minerals, calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, sodium, potassium, taurine, coconut water, stuff like that, to make sure you stay hydrated during the cardio session, which I'll be doing at the Iron Gym that I was at yesterday. So yeah, let's just get that rolling. Just some simple cardio here at Iron Gym. We'll do for about half an hour. Then straight back to the apartment, have my breakfast, very enjoyable, do some work, Alrighty, back home now, can't wait to dig into this breakfast, so let me show you what it is. So it's the good old breakfast, cream of rice, 70 grams, we have 15 grams of dark chocolate, some strawberries, jagged factory rye isolate, some liquid egg whites, and some cinnamon, psyllium husk. And that's it. And later today, I'll actually be having an RX Muscle round table, which is going to be interesting. And I also uploaded a video for you guys, so which should be online right now. So thank you for your support. Okay, guys, I just did the interview, the round table interview on RX Muscle with Logan Franklin and Rough Diesel talking about classic physique. So if you want to check that video out, check it out on RX Muscle. And now I'm going to have my pre-workout shake, which is a new addition to my diet ever since working with my coach. So I'm going to blend it up. So what's in here? Some cinnamon, some gorgeously delicious authentic ISO, 40 grams. Check out the link in the description for 20% off. This is delicious and very high quality. Also 60 grams of cream of rice, and also 1/2 of a beautiful banana, around 70 grams. And I put some ice cubes in here to make it even more delicious. So let's just blend it up and drink this. Now would you look at that, let's enjoy. Okay guys, we're in the supermarket right now, and what we're doing here is not a Walmart, it's actually a different supermarket. It's called Soriana, and I'm a fan of supermarkets, getting my steps in, just finding some stuff like 0-calorie drinks and stuff like that, and some other vegetables to eat, and just to figure out what you have here, so let's see. Look at this, guys, these are broccoli sprouts. They are incredibly healthy, and guess what? Anabolic as well. They truly are. I've been eating those for a long time, but I actually stopped because a lot of supermarkets don't carry them. But here, I'm just gonna grab a few, because I'm gonna put them with every single meal for sure. You can't go wrong with Popeye spinach for my omelets, and of course the salads. Okay guys, here we are at the gym, Iron Gym in Cancun. Let's get this back workout started. Very excited. Let's do this. A little bit dark, but that's a hardcore atmosphere here. Let's get started first on this pull-up machine. Feels very good. Always nice to start up with a pull-down or a pull-up, as long as it's for the lats, to warm up the whole back before the row. So let's do it. Alright, so the first movement of the day is indeed the pull-ups. Now what I try to do is mimic some movements that I'm used to from 100% Fit Gym, where I work out at home. So especially the first exercise of the back that I'm doing today is the exact same that I'm used to back in our gym, except at our gym you can actually stand on the plateau, and here you have to kneel. And I prefer the standing variation because this feels a bit more awkward, but as I mentioned, I think it is important to start out with, a pull down or a pull up in order to get the back warmed up the safest possible way, because the lower back isn't involved. And this way you really get a nice pump in the lats, a lot of blood in there. Not that that's a problem, because it's very, very hot and you sweat a whole lot, which is why I bring 3 liters of water with me, all fueled with Carb Surge, Hydra Surge, and some EAAs, and a little bit of salt to make sure I stay hydrated throughout the entire workout. And the flavoring of the water is then amazing, which makes it easier to drink all of that water. Not that it needs to be easier when it's this hot, because you're sweating so much you're thirsty anyway, but still, it's very important to stay hydrated all throughout the workout, because otherwise, even though, for example, you're in a lean bulk and you're eating more than enough carbs, the energy at the end of the workout might still be very low if you are dehydrated or you are missing certain electrolytes, like especially sodium or potassium, causing cramping or not being able to get a good pump anymore, and that is demotivating, and that is not what we want. Now, the next one is a hybrid in between a pull down and a row. I call it the high row. So you're basically rowing from a high point, allowing you to still hit the lats, but also via back thickness, the rhomboids and the lower lats as well. And this is a very good way to start all the rowing movements, because we are going to do quite a few today. Because when you're at a new gym, you just want to try out all of those machines, but I'm also bumping my training up a notch right before the Olympiad to make sure that I get in the best possible shape, leaving no stone unturned. And by the way, I'm pretty much hitting 2 working sets on every single movement, which you'll see. Most of the time, the first working set, which means the set to failure, is in between the 8 and 12 rep range. And the second working set is at least above 12, but I always try to be in between 15 and 20. So the rep ranges actually differ from each other, and that way you can actually hit the back slightly differently. On the second working set, if you are using a lighter weight, which I'm doing now compared to the first working set, you're able to perfect your form even better. So for example, if you weren't very happy with your form or mind-muscle connection in the first working set, that first of all means it's a bit too heavy, but then you can correct that with the second working set and don't feel bad about the exercise. Then the next one is a low row. Now, even though it's a low row, the entire back is still involved. Now, just like with any other muscle group, the back has a lot of different muscles attached and used during every single exercise. So it's impossible to isolate a part of the back, but it is possible to emphasize part of the back. So what I'm feeling here is especially the lower back, the lower lats, and the erector muscles. So watch my form closely and you will be able to watch it much better right now. You can see the actual back musculature right here, and this Iron Gym in Cancun is very has a high form of hospitality, because they simply are hardcore. For bodybuilders like me, it's very important to feel comfortable even training like this. And people don't even look at you weird, they actually look at you from wow, that's cool, or give you compliments. So that just feels very good. But anyway, what I wanted to tell you is that you can see here exactly which muscles are working. So the entire back is working, but you can see that I'm arching my lower back at the very end, because that maximizes the contraction. Now guys, if you don't feel the back that well, the first thing you have to do is lower the weight and then use this form. So whenever you're rowing backwards and contracting, arch the lower back and you will be able to contract the back better, and always pull with the elbows backwards as well, allowing for that maximum contraction of the back without the biceps being too much involved. Now what I'm doing here is I did the first working set heavy, then the second working set to failure, but this is a rest pause set, which is one of the many intensity techniques you can use to do more difficult reps within a shorter time frame. Because normally, if it was just a second working set, I would have been done already, but now I'm doing 2 extra rest pause sets. And a rest pause, basically what it means is you take 10 to 15 breaths in between each time you hit failure, in total of 3 times. So the first time you hit failure, then you rest pause for like 10-15 seconds, hit failure again, rest again, and then hit failure a third time. And that allows you to do more effort with the same exercise and give more stimulus to the muscle for muscle retention and muscle growth, which is of course very important when you are cutting for a show or cutting in general. Now I always think it's important to do at least one unilateral movement, because as you can see right here, I'm starting with the left side because the left side is a little bit weaker compared to the right side. Also the mind-muscle connection is a little less, that'll never really change, but you can minimize the difference by starting with the weakest side and then ending with the strongest side. This is what you should always do. However, I didn't really like this movement that much. I couldn't really get a good connection here, so I just did the first working set with unilateral style, but then the second working set right here I'm doing with both arms at the same time. You can see immediately that how I'm moving my body is different. The muscles in the back are being involved way more. It feels way better. So if you're doing an exercise that you haven't done before or haven't done in a while and it simply doesn't feel good, either change it up, change your positioning, change the seat, change from one arm to 2 arms or vice versa, or pick a different movement. You are not forced to keep doing the same movement if it simply doesn't feel that good. So guys, keep that in mind. However, this one did feel good, so I'm doing another rest pause set here. Just one rest pause because, I wasn't planning on doing an intensity technique here, but because I changed up the type of movement, I wanted to get more reps in with this double row possibility, which again burns more calories, stimulates the muscle even more for muscle growth, and it just feels very amazing to be hardcore like that. Okay, the next one is an interesting lat pull down variation. So this is basically the last compound movement for the back. Now, I'd like to sometimes start with a pull-down movement and also end with a pull-down movement. Why? Because with a row, it is more difficult to truly stretch out the back. And with a pull-down, you always will stretch it out at the very top, especially the lats. As you can see those bulging muscles stretching out. So if you want a good V taper, make sure to go all the way up and stretch as far as you can. Lower the weight if you have to. It's not about the weight, it's about what the muscle is experiencing. And as I mentioned, that was the last compound, but not the last movement for the back, because we still have an isolation movement, the cable pullover. And this one is very good for the lower lats. So if you have a very good V taper, but you notice that the lower part of your back is a bit empty, it could use some more thickness, then sticking to movements that specifically target the lower back, such as a cable pullover, would be very smart. I like to do this slightly higher rep, because if you do more weight, it's more difficult to get into that contraction, which is exactly what you need to do in order to hit those lower lats with the cable pullover. And now it's time for the reverse pec deck. Haven't done this in quite a while, so I'm just doing 2 working sets here. The rear delts. Now let me tell you something about the rear delts. A lot of people, when they train shoulders separately, they always complain that the rear delts are a weak point, or even the side delts, or they simply want bigger shoulders in general. Now, of course, front delts are important, but we already train those pretty much to the max whenever we train the chest. So I never, ever isolate the front delts in my general workout split. What I do is take the rear delts and target them after doing the back exercises, because a lot of the back movements, they target the rear delts anyway, and in my opinion it would be a shame not to finish them off when they're already warmed up. all you need to do is some high volume 2 to 3 working sets, and then you're done. Because most of us, we train back twice a week. So you then work the rear delts with 4 to 6 working sets, which is plenty enough to make that small muscle group, and listen to me, small muscle group grow. And why do I emphasize small? Because you don't and you shouldn't go heavy on this movement. Always go nice and light. Isolate the rear delts because this is an isolation movement. That way you can keep the traps mostly out of the movement and focus purely on that peak contraction in the rear delts. I like to do high volume here because you want a lot of blood to be rushed into a muscle that you can't do a lot of weight with, or where it's smart not to do a lot of weight. So what I'm doing here is a double drop set. So first at least 15 reps until failure, then hitting failure, then do a drop set, and now it's time for the final drop set. Then just keep going until you truly can't go anymore. And what is important, don't cheat. When you're doing a drop set, most people go all wild and hardcore, and then their form starts to break down. If your form breaks down, lower the weight so you can keep your form to perfection. And here you can see the pump in the rear delts from just this movement, which is more than enough. And of course, when you are in a gym like this and you feel comfortable, you can always check your shape. Now, in my opinion, it is very important to check your shape when you're at a maximum pump, and also just for documentation to see, okay, for the 2021 Miss Olympia, 2 weeks out, a little bit more than 2 weeks out, I look like this after a pump in the gym, working the back, and it's just very nice to be able to see what you look like. And of course, hitting some of my signature poses. Truly one of my favorites, the front double biceps. To me, it's a strong pose because of my lats and because of the arms and the structure in general, so I like to hit that. And the legs have been improving as well, more and more, because the deeper the striations and the deeper the lines get, the better the legs start to look, which is very amazing. Of course, they can be bigger and bigger like pretty much any other muscle, but still, I'm happy with the progress, and that is what bodybuilding is all about. And this is my new favorite classic pose, which I've been hitting in Poland, which I like a lot. And that suits my physique better because I want to hit that combination of the old school, classic, golden era, dominant physique, combined with the modern classic physique, so small waist but still bulging muscle bellies for the best possible combination. Now, after the back, it is time for some biceps, and we're starting out with the barbell curls. I'm only showing you one working set because, a curl is a curl, so sticking to around 10 to 15 reps, but not using a very heavy weight because, the biceps, especially near the end of a contest prep, for me, they get quite sensitive, the bicep tendon. So what I do, I focus really on the form. I focus on not using momentum. I focus on the tension on the bicep at the very top. If I don't feel that ultimate squeeze at the very top, then it's too heavy. So I like to go down as much as I can without any pain in the distal bicep tendon. And the distal bicep tendon is the tendon that is attached to your forearm, in between your biceps and your forearm. When that is being irritated, it is very difficult to get rid of. So overstretching the bicep can sometimes put so much pressure and strain on that tendon that it actually starts to hurt. And that is, trust me, not what you want, because it messes up your entire back workouts, because every back workout also requires the biceps to work. So the first movement was just a straight barbell curl. The second movement, both a close grip preacher curl on this machine, and then the exact same machine, I use a unilateral movement with just one arm, and really focus on going all the way down, but especially all the way up, because here you can really focus on that ultimate contraction of the bicep, which is very, very important to get those bicep peaks to show on stage. Okay, just got back home, and now it's time for the post-workout meal. So normally, if you saw my video yesterday, you know exactly what it's going to be. Normally I would just take a whey isolate shake and then have my complete meal with rice, fish and vegetables, but now it's something different. Would you look at this, guys? It doesn't look like much, but this is cereal, like frosted pillows or something. I just picked it up from Walmart, and every single time I can try out a different kind of cereal. I'm going to add Jacked Factory whey isolate to this. And sorry about my raspy voice, but seems like I got a bit of a cold from Dexter and my girlfriend, who are now still at home, but they're still with me in terms of the the virus that I have right now. But hopefully it's going to be gone in 2 days. Don't feel too bad yet. But here's 45 grams of whey isolate, mixing it up with only a little bit of water to make this taste just incredible. Vanilla flavor. So let's enjoy this. Time for the next meal. The next meal is always around an hour, well, 45 minutes to an hour after the cereal, because the cereal has no fats, no fibers, just whey isolate, and sugary carbs, which digest really quickly. So let's check out what this meal is about. All right, a lot of ingredients here, but they are all incredible. So we have asparagus as the vegetable. We have the broccoli sprouts, as I told you guys about in the grocery store, very healthy and delicious. Can add it to salads as well. But this is officially not a salad because I have some rice here, 50 grams. That's the last carb meal of the day. After this will be 2 meals without carbs. Also have some cucumber, some pumpkin, so all easy to digest vegetables. And this is whitefish, codfish, which are actually sous vide at home, which means cooked to perfection. Then vacuum sealed it, froze it, took it with me in the suitcase, and there it is. So yeah, I did take fish with me because I didn't know how expensive it would be here. All in all, it isn't that expensive, but it's still nice to already have fish done and prepped. Let's enjoy. Next meal going down. So this is the carbless meal I was talking about, but still just as delicious. Very simple vegetables. So there's some lettuce, a mixed Italian lettuce. The broccoli sprouts is very, very healthy. You have some pumpkin, some cucumber, and some chicken. And that's it. Let's enjoy. And after this, we're going to do some cardio. Okay guys, so I'm about to hit some cardio. Just walking outside around the block like 2 times. And before cardio, because it's late at night, before the last meal, I like to take a fat burner that doesn't have any stimulants. And for that, I take Lean PM from Jacked Factory. Now what's in here? And by the way, Lean PM, you've also a Lean AM. So the AM has stimulants and the PM doesn't, because it implies that you've taken on the PM so you can still actually sleep, but it actually helps you sleep. So it's a fat burner and a sleep support. So for example, there's L-theanine, 5-HTP, and melatonin in here. There's also a melatonin-free one because not everybody likes to take melatonin every single day, but to me it really helped me with the jet lag that I've been having. As I said, last night I already slept for 8 hours, which was great. But there's also magnesium in here, which really helps with relaxation. Vitamin B6, the same thing. But the fat burner component is green tea leaf extract, or EGCG. Many of you may know this, but it's very nice to have all of this in one supplement. And what I also take is a capsule of L-carnitine, acetyl L-carnitine. There is 750 milligrams in here that will also help shuttle some extra fatty acids into the bloodstream and to burn it off during the cardio. So let's do this. Okay, taking the necessary steps, figuratively and literally, to burn that extra fat. Now, most of the fat for me is right now in the lower back area. Me and basically my coach, he can feel whether it's water or fat, by the feel of the skin and what's underneath. So, there's still a little bit of fat to lose. There's always more fat to lose, obviously, but we still have that time. So cardio will be upped every single day. 1 cardio session in the morning at the gym, and 1 at night just here locally. And as you can see, pretty serious, pretty interesting scenery here. So I'm just going to walk around this apartment block 2 times. getting around 25 minutes of steps in, and that'll bring me to the end of the day in terms of activity. Then one more meal, and then go to sleep. Last meal of the day, guys. Again, a two-parter. Here we have the omelet of just liquid egg whites, 200 grams. We also have some mushrooms, we have some spinach, broccoli sprouts, and a little bit of chicken mixed through this. Kind of like chicken strips, make it as bacon. Very delicious, but very lean. Here's the fat source though, and a bit of a more protein source as well. 125 grams of salmon, of course, baked on the skin, delicious, and some simple vegetables. Cucumber, asparagus, and pumpkin. Let's enjoy. Alrighty guys, that was the video of the day, and right now is the next day. It's a rest day, and today I'm also going to be recording, of course. It's going to be a slightly shorter video without the workout, but anyway, I want to thank you a whole lot for your incredible support watching the videos, and for also using my code Wesley for 20% off any of the Jacked Factory supplements. Link down below, and don't forget to check out vintagegenetics.com for all your classic bodybuilding clothing. And of course, don't forget to stay golden.